All right, thank you. It's been 1 week since we've had the last roundtable, and let's get a recap of what's happened in that week. Has there been any major, significant situations happening on your side that the world needs to know about?
So iOS 14.5.1 is out. So far, what I've seen, at least, is when you update the operating system, it's automatically toggling off the fact that apps are allowed to track you. So essentially, for someone to actually be able to be tracked in 14.5, if you were to update your operating system, you have to go into the app, toggle it on, and then every time an app comes up, you have to click allow for tracking. And we'll put up on the prompt like a little bit of picture of what that looks like. But essentially, what that's causing is right now there's a 96% opt-out rate in the US. I think it's like 13% are opting in worldwide. But I think it's like pretty obvious to see. Like I can't see anybody going into their settings, clicking allow track, and then having to do that extra step and seeing people track. So honestly, I'm surprised it's a 4% opt-in rate right now, because like that's a lot of steps, and I feel like most people probably like aren't even aware that it's there. So the opt-out rate was projected to be pretty high, and so far it is. So that's what we're seeing right now.
What's been the biggest tangible impact for agencies, for advertisers, as a result of a 96% opt-out rate?
So we've talked to like Facebook support and reps and stuff like that, and essentially what we're seeing is if someone does opt out, even though we've gone through the troubles of, Facebook's told you to configure your events, verify your domain, all that stuff. What it was supposed to do is give you insight into a little bit of tracking, but what we're finding out now is that you're not going to be able to track conversions from users that have opted out. And Facebook, I'm assuming, and we've been told, has things in the works, which is obviously the assumption based on the fact that we had to do all those verifications and configurations. So right now, there's that combined with the fact that the attribution windows changed from 28 days to 7 days a few months back. Most reports are probably showing up with a slight drop in conversions, probably anywhere from 30 to 50%, honestly. Kind of depends based on what they were previously seeing.
So a lot of red in the reports.
A lot of red right now, yeah.
Did they give you any indication of when it's going to be 100% accurate? So right now you're looking at data that could be from, a little bit longer than the actual time when everybody put this 14.5.1 on their system. Mm-hmm. So is it going to be like this right now is a little red, and next week, 10 days from now, it's going to be completely rolled out?
So they're obviously working on things to make it so you do have the ability to track conversions. I don't know what the end answer is going to be or when it's going to be. One thing that I'm actually finding interesting is right now there's a slight delay in conversion. So it seems like Facebook is trying to do some sort of statistical modeling for 14.5 users because they can't actually track the conversions. So there's actually a delay right now in conversion. So if you're running like a shorter campaign, you might not see some conversions coming in until Facebook is trying to attribute back. So it's a little bit confusing in terms of what you're seeing on cost per lead basis, because there is a delay in what's actually coming in right now.
That's interesting. Google's doing the same thing too.
Yeah.
That kind of model.
Care to elaborate?
No. Google has a lot more advantages. So they've been ahead of this. I don't want to jump the gun, but they've been ahead of this, it seems, for the most part. But it seems like they're adopting some of the same things on the conversion tracking side that Facebook is.
I mean, we thought Facebook was ahead of it too, but now it seems like the ability to track them is literally not possible. So I just have to assume there's things in the works right now. So all that work would be for naught with all the configuration and stuff. So there's got to be something in the pipeline, but the ETA, who knows?
Like we all said last week, I think that the powers that be, they know what's going on. This is phase 1 of a 4-phase process, and they already have the first 3 phases already finished. I'm just hoping, will they do that? Will they roll those pieces out fast enough? Right now, everybody's saying, okay, what do I do next? And there's no next steps, or, hey, this is step 2 now, and then step 3 is coming in 3 weeks. I wish that rollout would be there. You have people that want to spend money, they want to sit there and advertise, and then they're like, what do we do?
So there's going to be obviously there's going to be some time in between when we can get like legit attribution from these types of users with all the privacy concerns and stuff like that until it's actually accurate. So like, to basically your exact question, like what should we be telling clients and stuff like that right now when the attribution is not necessarily there?
I think we have to take a look at the report. We're all going to be seeing red. We're seeing significant drops off in the report. So we have to change how we frame a successful campaign a little bit. I know that you've brought up, how have we been measuring commercials for this amount of time? So traditional advertising has worked without attribution forever. Not saying that digital needs to go that full route, but everyone's seeing red across the board. It doesn't mean that performance has dropped. It just means the way that we can report on performance has dropped. So I think the conversation with clients around, what are you seeing overall? How's your overall lead gen? How's your overall store traffic? How's your overall, calls? How's that working? If that's staying static, if that's growing, but the report's showing a dip, it's just the way the data's coming in, and that's going to have to adapt as the platforms adapt. So it's a somewhat tough conversation to have with a client because they're only seeing it for themselves. They're not seeing the millions of other clients looking at the exact same reports, seeing red, and it's hard to explain industry changes of this level to your HVAC technicians, to your doctors, to people working in education. This isn't what they do full time. It's going to take a little bit of trust to have that conversation, but I think that the earlier we can begin having that conversation, the more upfront we can be, the better chance we have for clients to understand that.
100%.
Yeah. And we talked about literally, we said, it's not like every marketer just got really bad at their job in the past few weeks or months or anything like that. It's leads are down X amount. Just the ability to report on it is becoming a little bit more difficult, and marketing will find ways, we'll find the attribution models and stuff like that, and the platforms will find ways around it while protecting privacy. But you're right, just for now, those conversations are super important because, the end client knows what their business is doing and how it's going. So just because it might not look like it's performing as well as it used to, it could be. And there's obviously there's even alternatives on platform lead gen and stuff like that where you're not going to lose all that stuff's happening on the platform. You're not losing those actual leads in terms of attribution. You're still going to see that stuff. It's when it gets taken off to the website that we kind of have struggles. So all the conversations are super important.
So clients looking at the report, we're having this conversation. They refuse to believe that the sky's not falling. What conversation comes next?
My mind has always been, what other platforms are you working on? What other pieces of marketing can you be doing? So, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to make sure that you're able to market on all facets. You have a website, have social media, you have all these pieces. Are you working on your organic search rankings, which, yes, it's not a one and done, I pay 15 cents per this keyword, but this is more long-standing traffic once you work on those keywords. You need to work on several of those. You need to make sure the rest of your social media is on point. You need to make sure that the relationships you have after the sale is made is perfect. If you're sitting there and getting all these stellar reviews and you're not responding to them, replying to them, it looks like a dead space and there's nothing there to bring more referral business. Those types of pieces should definitely be reviewed, especially if you aren't doing them. If you're only spending on one section of marketing, there's so many different ways that you can do this.
And I think for so many clients that might be spending in one area, social's a place where they're doing that. I'd see social search as the entry point for a lot of people. So if this has been the entry point and now a dip in social feels like a dip in the overall marketing campaign for our client, I think diversification is the way to go. I'm not surprised that the guy in the I Love SEO shirt just recommended organic traffic as a alternative solution. I completely, you got to show that off. There we go. There we go.
I completely agree with two of you. So if 2020 hasn't taught you anything about, filling the funnel with other marketing channels, nothing will. So yeah.
I mean, like, social content is super important. Like, you talked about, like, all these things, like talking to your consumers, like promo codes. Someone puts that on your website if you're selling something or a sale and that has a special promo code. Like, you obviously know it's working from the marketing channels that are using it. So there's ways to still track these types of things, and the reputation management, just like all the people that you are already working with, keeping them happy. I think those things are super important.
Yeah. And John, the numbers are going to say something, but if you look at the last 6 months of reports up until this situation that's going on right now, and everything's been the same, how many times have you heard from the clients that, oh, listen, I know all the numbers look correct, but they're coming in and they're making another statement. The clients that are bringing us their business, they're a little different. That subject comes up. So don't always think okay, the reports are red, this is done. There's a problem, there's oh my God. Listen, like you said before, listen to what people that are coming into your door are saying. Has anything changed? Because it just might be that, hey, the report is a little hinky right now.
I think if we could sum up, this roundtable is that the reports are going to be a little hinky for a little bit, and just got to adapt. You have to adapt to the hinky.